Wow, has it really been 4 whole years?
Yeah, it feels like I'm about to wake up from the longest dream I've ever had.
I wish we could stay in this moment just a little longer.
I mean, we can. Let's rewind.
Think a bad morning, a great morning. You don't know what you're going to find. It's one day.
Today's the middle of the silence. It's done. It's already fine.
Only it's about celebrating good over good.
It's almost necessary now that I find myself in the bus and I'm searching for
new people on stage. Ramsha.
Hello, I'm Ramsha.
Nice to meet you. My name is Gabia.
My name is Ethan.
My name is Teddy.
I'm Stephanie.
My name is Heather.
Hi, I'm Jinchi.
I'm Peter.
I'm Yana.
I'm Gabriel.
Amazing, Gabriel. Happy to have you here.
And this is the
One day finale.
Day finale.
The M25 class is
diverse,
ambitious,
talented,
dedicated,
energetic,
unapologetically goofy,
So cute.
wholesome,
Chaotic.
passionate.
people that love each other.
but everybody has a problem with washing the dishes.
It's easy to put a bunch of people together that have different sets of backgrounds and stuff like that. You're not going to end up at Minerva unless you're very brave, unless you take that risk and go to a new school that is non-traditional and it isn't the original path and so on. So I think inherently in that way, Minervans are kind of brave. That shows in everything they do.
I've seen them grinding every day, all day, in all the possible locations.
When I came to Minerva, I think one of the cringiest thing I've heard is that the best part of Minerva is the community. I think it's still cringy, but I think it's true. And I don't think I'll ever get a chance where I'll talk to like 200 people from like 60 countries ever again.
The size of our class being less than 200 people, the unique experience that we're all sharing together, and the need to anchor to each other, we are super tight-knit, super close. And for that, I see most people here as friends and family members, not just peers.
If you're going to
San Francisco, in one word, would be
Origin.
Adventure.
Empowering.
complex.
because it's like a utopia and a dystopia together in one city. It's like the tech hub, Silicon Valley, all that exciting, but there's also so much poverty, so much homelessness, and it's hard to bridge those two together.
At the first semester, dirty, and at this point, sweet, just like home. That's the power of time, which changed the city and also myself.
So first semester, I got assigned roommates that of course I didn't know anything about, and I didn't know anyone at Minerva, and I got assigned with 2 wonderful people, Keita and Praise. Keita's from Japan, Praise is from Nigeria. 2 absolutely sweethearts, and they're really, really, really wonderful people. And I've experienced a lot of things throughout this journey, but the conversations and personal relationship I've gotten with that first room, those roommates, is really something that sits very deep in my heart. It's not the craziest thing, it's not the most amazing adventure, but it's the things that really meant stuff for me. And I think especially because it was the first time I went abroad, it was scary, I took risk, and I had these people that immediately became such a source of security and source of comfort. You go into new environments and you feel like none of these people understand my experience because I have lived a very different life in a very different corner of the world. But when you do actually engage deeply, you realize, oh my gosh, we have so much in common. And that connects, right? And that just that feeling of like, okay, I'm not alone here. On the contrary, I'm with people like myself, and that's a huge comfort in itself.
If I had to describe Seoul, South Korea, in one word, it would be seamless.
Kimchi.
Predictable.
I wasn't there.
Full.
Community.
This has a lot of different meanings. I think full, well, one, we definitely ate some really, really good food. So we were, full. I think it was also, to me, it was a very important time of Minerva when I became close with a lot of people that are in my life now. So I was also, just full of love and full of happiness and generally full of excitement. And I was also becoming less scared than San Francisco semester because I kind of, knew my ways around, and at that point I understood myself better and Minerva better and HCs better. So I think I was also full of passion and also full of energy to see where Minerva takes me.
Exciting.
Life.
Nature.
Utopic.
Cozy. Ascent.
Breakfast place. Breakfast place was the best place for dinner in Taiwan. Everyone had very late night classes, but the NS majors were taking classes from the lobby together. After 10:30, we would go to the breakfast place to have dinner. Leave you memorize the whole menu because the menu was in Mandarin and he knew what everything was. It was just a nice way to like wind down and like just vent off after classes and be closer together as a community. And I remember like at the last day of classes we filled like the whole place because we were so many people.
Spontaneous.
Exciting.
I don't know. I wasn't there.
Hong Kong.
Colors.
Awakening.
India has a lot of autos and traffic is crazy. Something that Steph Froebel told me once, my roommate in India. She said, some people find it overwhelming. I find it exhilarating.
हेलो हेलो तू फ्लोर्स पे जब है आई येलो येलो बड़ी सॉलिड मस्ती छाई.
So then I took that analogy of the auto. It's chaotic, yes, but it's exhilarating. It's very exciting, very thrilling. I look fondly back at India with its honk word.
It's hard to describe it, and yet it's so obvious the ways I've changed. I feel like Minerva has been such a profound experience at such an impressionable time of my life that I can't really separate myself from the Minerva experience. It's like Prof. Diamond would say, the counterfactual doesn't exist.
I would say at the starting point of Minerva, I am Peter. And at the second year, I came back to China alone. At that time, I was Jiayuan, which is my Chinese name. Third year, I became Crazy Peter. At this point now, I am Peter as well, but not the same Peter as the first year. I feel much more peaceful about myself and also being mature.
When I came to Minerva, I was this kid who was very unaware of the norms of the world. Now, after 4 years at Minerva, I've developed this very global perspective in terms of trying to understand people, who they are, where they're coming from, what's the cultural background and their upbringing that has led them here, and how is that contributing to whatever they're saying. And the idea that every interpretive lens has a context behind it, and being aware of that before reaching any conclusion or seeing a human for a human rather than just another party to debate with.
Well, the typical answer is kind of the airport, but I feel like it isn't that crazy anymore because many people are taking class from airports. Actually, okay, no, I do have a good answer. On the Flixbus from Berlin to Paris, and on the bus stop in Freiburg, which is a city between Germany and France, at like middle of the night, I took a class in like quantum physics, and it was beautiful. And that was, I think, the craziest, like what I'm doing. I'm on a bus stop in middle of nowhere and taking class, yeah.
In London, there's the West End, so like the Broadway kind of thing, lots of theater, musical shows, and you could get really cheap lottery tickets. And I would do that a lot, but they would always conflict with my class times. So typically I would be going to the West End, whatever show I was going to see, with my computer open on the double-decker buses. Then I'm walking through the London streets with my laptop, and then I finish class in the first or second row of the theater. And then as they're calling the curtains to open, I'm closing my laptop to end class.
The craziest place where I have taken a class is the northernmost McDonald's in the world. and that was in Tromsø in Norway. We had to leave the next day, but we already kind of checked out because we were planning to chase the auroras the whole night, so we had to take classes somewhere, and the only place that was open that late was McDonald's, and it came to be the northernmost McDonald's in the world.
I once took a class on the way to DMZ, or the demilitarized zone. It's the border between South Korea and North Korea. It happened to be the last day of classes in Seoul, and I have 2 classes. So in the morning class, I took it on the bus on the way to the border of North Korea, and then the second class happened at night, so it was on the way from North Korea back to the res, and there's also a bit of a walking distance between the bus and the res, so I remember holding my laptop like this as I was walking back to my room.
So interestingly enough, one time I was in Thailand and we were riding a motorcycle, and while we were riding on a motorcycle, I was taking a class from my phone. Did I fall from the motorcycle while I was in class and get into a bike accident? Yes. Do I have a forum recording of me falling from that bike accident in that class? Yes.
La mirada errante en las sombras te busca y te nombra.
Confusing.
Chill.
Flowers.
Warm.
Forming.
Soulful.
Bland. Just their food is very bland, and
because I'm from Argentina and we did a semester in Buenos Aires, definitely shifted something in like my self-perception, or like the perception that I have on my country, my culture. Before the Buenos Aires semester, my perception on living in Argentina was mostly negative, I would say. I think that Minervans had a very overall very positive perception on Buenos Aires, but then after the semester it shifted a lot for good, and I think that's also something I'm really grateful for about Minerva, that I was able to sort of like make peace.
Very dated.
Ugh.
Blue.
Wind.
rain. Warm.
What?
Warm like soup is warm, not warm like it was hot outside, because it was not hot outside.
I think that's in London, which is literally 1 year ago. So at that time, Lisa, Sean, Goga, and I are becoming 4 roommates. And one night when we were hanging around on the street of London, we found out 4 left Christmas trees, and we brought them into our dorm. And we gave each of them our hat to represent ourselves, according to the height of those trees. And I think that's a really sweet memory for me, because I think that is the first time for me to feel the warmth of my roommates for my entire life.
See, now I don't want to get cancelled.
Grungy.
Color.
Lively.
Expression.
Colors manifest, not necessarily visually, but Berlin has a crazy art scene. This very creative energy that with synesthesia I see as color. So yeah, I agree. Well, it might not look like the most colorful city, it still feels colorful.
Because after all of those tortured moments and also cultivation of myself, I really feel Berlin is a city where I can finally to discover by myself.
Home is a tricky one.
I've tried to overthink this question a lot.
When you move every 4 months and you're in a completely new place, it becomes very important to find home in other things.
Really, it's a fluid thing to me.
I have the saying, I like to say, home is where my pillow is. Because we're traveling so much, and it's so hard to make clear of a true identity of where home is, I have just kind of made this decision, like wherever I'm sleeping that night is where I'm going to decide that my home is.
Right now I'm in San Francisco, so San Francisco is home. And tomorrow if I decide to go to, I don't know, Norway, then Norway will be home.
I did the math of the longest time over the past 4 years that I've slept in one bed. And it's like, I think it was around 3 weeks was the longest time I had spent in one bed.
I remember one of my classmates said at an event, we Minervans, we come from nowhere, but we belong everywhere.
Home is
the place where I feel safe.
Where the heart is, and where the heart is right now tends to be and the beautiful souls that keep me smiling every day.
Whenever I think of home, I like to think of my family. I like to think of like where my roots really are, and it also serves like as a compass. Whenever there's like very tough decisions, like life situations, it's like, like who am I really? Like what are my values?
A piece of advice I would give to myself or anyone else starting Minerva is to take control of your life.
Be really selective with your yeses.
Not be as scared as I was, but to also be strong.
The Minerva curriculum and lifestyle can be one of the most stress and anxiety-inducing places if you let it be.
Am I gonna get the visa? Am I gonna be with the roommates I want? Am I gonna have the same dynamics in the different city? It's easy to just kind of take life as it comes at you rather than being more intentional and focused on like things that you can't control.
Yes, advice, don't submit capsule on the last day.
Breathe.
Really focus your time on where you feel is most important.
And live.
Live 60 seconds of every minute. When you put it all together, it's a very beautiful learning experience that you probably would not find at most places around the world for a 4-year time span. So what I would say is just come with an open mind.
Look at the world with patience and with kindness.
Everybody's in it together, and that's really, really comforting.
The world is constantly giving you gifts if you choose to accept them.
To my younger self, learn how to cook. I ate like the same sandwich for like a month straight.
Saying goodbye means also saying hello to something new. Saying goodbye it doesn't feel, it feels much less permanent for me now than it did back when I was younger. Like I remember being very distraught about whenever I left a new environment or new community, or left a community that I was really in love with. But I'm much better now at recognizing that those goodbyes aren't permanent. You still have that community, you still have those friends, and also that every goodbye is a hello to a new chapter.
I don't want to say goodbye. I want to say see you soon, because I'm hoping that whenever a Minervan comes to Macedonia or like wherever I am, they're gonna hit me up and like we can catch up, or if I'm going somewhere else that I can hit them up and like keep this kind of connections.
Saying goodbye is sad, and I think the truth of the matter is things will be different. Like that's just how it works. It is not going to be that I will continue to be living in the same apartment building as them, and it's not going to be that I will have the same opportunities to invite them to go get ice cream every day. Like it's just, it will be different, and that is part of growing up, and that's part of having new eras in our lives, and we live with it.
Well, now you're gonna make me cry. I'm taking this goodbye or see you later as a time to start a new path in life. But I'll definitely be coming back to this one in my memories like every day for the rest of my life.
Let's do it. Falling in love. And you. Yeah, you're right. The first take was better.
Yeah, but it's nice to have the bonus audio if I need to. Okay, you wanna.
Or you could also do.
How do I stop the recording?
You hit the button again.